My name's Emily, I'm 27, and I'll admit something I'm not proud of. I broke up with my boyfriend just to see if he'd fight for me. I wasn't unhappy, not really. If you asked anyone around us, they would have said we were the picture of stability, no screaming matches, no trust issues, no chaos. He was steady, calm, and the kind of man people describe as solid. But that was the problem. Solid started to feel flat. He never chased me when I pulled away during arguments. He didn't get jealous when other guys flirted with me. He never lost his cool, never raised his voice, never gave me that dramatic proof I craved that he cared so much he couldn't stand the thought of losing me. And maybe that says more about me than about him. For months, I'd been scrolling through social media, watching videos where men made grand gestures, midnight drives across town after a fight, handwritten letters begging for forgiveness, tearful speeches about not being able to live without her. I'd whisper to myself, would he do that for me? Would he fight for me if I gave him a reason to? The question burrowed into my chest like a splinter I couldn't pull out. So one Saturday evening, as he sat across from me at our favorite little Thai place, calmly eating pad CEW, asking about my week, I decided to find out. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear myself think. Jake, I said, pushing my plate away, I think we should break up. He froze mid-bite. He didn't ask why, didn't look confused, didn't even set down his fork right away. He just chewed, swallowed, then finally placed the fork on the table. There was a pause, heavy, loaded, the kind that feels like the whole world is holding its breath. And then, in the calmest voice I'd ever heard, he said, okay. That was it. No pleading, no questions, no attempt to stop me. He picked up the check, paid it, and walked out of the restaurant without even looking back. I sat there in stunned silence, staring at the empty seat across from me, waiting for him to return, waiting for the big dramatic reaction I was sure would follow. But he didn't come back. And in that moment, I realized I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. When Jake walked out of that restaurant, I thought it was just part one of the play. I thought he was going to storm outside, pace around the block, maybe send me a flood of texts demanding to know why I'd thrown away 2 years of our lives. I even rehearsed what I'd say when he came back in, all teary-eyed, begging me to reconsider. I just needed to know you cared, Jake. I just needed to feel it. But the hours ticked by, and the silence stayed. He didn't text that night. He didn't call. His side of the bed stayed empty. At first, I felt smug. Good, let him stew. Let him realize he should have fought harder for me. But by the next morning, that smugness curdled into panic. I sent the first message around noon. Hey, are we gonna talk? No response. By evening, I sent another. Jake, I didn't mean for it to end like that. Can we just talk? Still nothing. The next day I called. Straight to voicemail. My chest tightened with every unanswered ring. Jake had never ignored me before. He was the guy who texted me if he was running 10 minutes late, who answered even when he was in meetings just to say, "Can I call you back?" Now, it was like I didn't exist. I started venting to my best friend, Kara, pacing circles around my apartment. He's punishing me, right? That's what this is? He's trying to teach me a lesson. Kara gave me a look I didn't like. Or maybe he's just done. Her words hit me like a slap. Done? Just like that? No, he couldn't be. People don't just walk away without a fight. People don't throw away years together without demanding answers. But Jake apparently did. By the end of the week, I was unraveling. I kept checking his socials like a lunatic. And that's when I saw it. Someone had tagged him in a group photo. There he was, standing tall with his friends at a brewery, smiling like he didn't have a care in the world. No signs of heartbreak, no signs of a man missing me. I stared at that photo until my vision blurred. Because for the first time, I wondered, maybe he wasn't silent because he was plotting his next move. Maybe he was silent because I didn't matter anymore. And that thought? That hurt worse than anything. By the second week, my nerves were shot. I couldn't eat without feeling sick, couldn't sleep without waking up to grab my phone and check for messages that weren't there. I cracked. I started sending longer texts, ones I swore I wouldn't send. Jake, I didn't mean it. I just panicked, I don't know what I was thinking. Please can we talk? No reply. 2 years, Jake. You're really going to throw it away without even asking why? Without even trying? Nothing. I told myself he was playing a game, waiting for me to beg, and I hated that it was working. But then the tone of his silence started to shift. It wasn't the silence of a man plotting revenge, it was the silence of someone who had already moved on. I tried everything to reel him back. I accidentally showed up at his favorite coffee shop, sitting by the window so he'd have to see me when he came in. He did, and he walked right past, nodding politely like I was some stranger he'd once shared notes with in class. The humiliation burned my cheeks. Next, I tried calling his mom, desperate for some kind of update. She was kind, but careful. "He's fine, Emily. He's just figuring things out." Figuring things out? He was supposed to be fighting for me, not calmly figuring things out. It got worse when a mutual friend let it slip that Jake had been spotted out with a woman none of us knew. They weren't holding hands, nothing intimate, but just the thought of him sitting across from someone else, smiling that easy smile that used to belong to me, made my stomach twist into knots. That was the moment the test flipped on me. I wasn't the examiner anymore. I was the desperate one, clawing to get back into the story I thought I controlled. So I made up my mind. If he wouldn't come to me, I'd go to him. No more texts, no more waiting. I was going to confront him face to face, demand to know why he hadn't fought for us, why he hadn't begged me to stay. I needed to hear him say it. But deep down, a part of me already knew his answer might not be the one I wanted. I didn't plan it carefully. Honestly, I couldn't. I was too restless, too consumed by the silence. I found out from a mutual friend that Jake had started going to the gym after work. The old Jake, the steady, comfortable Jake, never cared much about working out. But now he had a routine. So one Thursday evening, I drove there and waited in the parking lot, my fingers tapping against the steering wheel until I saw him walk out. He looked different. Not dramatically, he wasn't suddenly ripped or glowing, but there was something in the way he carried himself. Shoulders straighter, head higher, like he'd shed a weight that wasn't physical at all. I got out of the car and called his name. He paused, clearly surprised, but not exactly happy to see me. He gave me a small nod, polite, distant. "Emily." "Jake, can we talk?" "Please." My voice cracked, and I hated it. He sighed, adjusting the strap of his gym bag. "About what?" "About us," I said quickly, stepping closer. "About why you didn't even ask why I broke up with you. You just walked away. Do you have any idea how that felt?" His eyes narrowed, and for the first time since all of this began, I saw a flicker of something sharp behind his calm. "Do you have any idea how it felt, Emily? Sitting across from you, hearing you say you wanted to break up like you were canceling a dinner reservation? No explanation, no warning, just done." I swallowed hard. "I wanted to see if you'd fight for me. If you cared enough to." "To what?" His voice cut me off, steady but firm. "To beg? To lose my dignity proving to you that I was worth keeping." The words hit me like a slap. "I thought," my voice faltered. "I thought if you loved me, you wouldn't let me walk away." He shook his head slowly. "If you loved me, Emily, you wouldn't have needed to test me at all." Silence stretched between us, heavy and unforgiving. Jake took a step back, and his expression softened, but not with affection. With finality. "I don't believe in fighting to stay with someone who's already decided to leave. Love isn't supposed to be a battlefield where one person makes the rules and the other begs to stay. You chose to walk away, so I respected your choice." I felt my throat close. "So that's it? After everything we've been through, that's it?" He gave me one last look, calm, steady, and heartbreakingly resolute. "Yeah, that's it." And just like that, he turned, got into his car, and drove away. No anger. No drama. Just a clean, quiet goodbye. And that somehow hurt worse than any fight ever could have. After that night in the parking lot, I stopped pretending I still had control of the story. Jake wasn't playing hard to get. He wasn't waiting for me to grovel. He was gone emotionally, spiritually, and maybe forever. At first, I tried to bargain with myself. He just needs space. He'll come around. He has to. But weeks passed, and the silence stretched on like a canyon I couldn't cross. The hardest part wasn't the empty bed or the lack of texts. It was how normal everything felt without me in his life. He didn't crumble. He didn't chase me. He just kept living. Kara finally snapped at me one night after I'd cried into her wine glass for the third time that week. "Emily, you played a game. And you lost. You wanted proof he loved you? You got it. He loves himself enough not to let someone treat him like a test." Her words stung, but they were true. A month later, I saw him again at a coffee shop we used to frequent on lazy Sundays. He was sitting across from a woman I didn't recognize. She wasn't overly glamorous, just effortlessly put together, the kind of person who radiates warmth without trying. They were laughing, and Jake looked happy. Not performative, not forced. Genuinely happy. For a second, I thought he'd look up and falter, maybe show some flicker of longing or regret. But when his eyes met mine, all he gave me was a small, polite nod, like I was an old classmate, not the woman who once shared his dreams. Then he turned back to her, leaving me standing there like a ghost. Walking out of that cafe, the truth finally settled over me like a cold weight. The test I'd designed to prove his love hadn't exposed his weakness. It had revealed mine. I wanted him to fight for me, to chase me, to prove I was worth the battle. Instead, he proved something I never saw coming, that he respected himself enough not to fight for someone who would weaponize love against him. I thought silence meant indifference. But now I know it can mean strength. His silence was the loudest answer I could have gotten. And the cruelest part? I finally understood how much he loved me the moment he walked away for good.